I had always thought I could handle anything my subscribers threw at me. I had eaten worms on livestream, streaked through the snow in nothing but boxers, and even stayed in a haunted motel overnight with a busted flashlight and a GoPro. Everything for the sake of content. All for the next viral burst. However, this time I invited something that I could not simply get rid of. It started on a Thursday morning, 9:58 a.m., 2 minutes before I hit go live on what was supposed to be my biggest stream yet. I had called it 72 hours. You control me. No rules. The thumbnail was a photo of me with duct tape over my mouth and the caption, "I'm your puppet now." It had racked up 86,000 likes in 12 hours. My phone had not stopped vibrating all night. "Jaden, are you seriously going through with this?" Zoe's voice crackled through the phone. It was obvious to me even from a distance that she was biting her finger. A classic nervous tell. "I have done worse," I responded while pacing in front of the camera. "This isn't a prank, Jay. You are giving them control. All of them. The whole internet. For 3 days. That's the point." I smiled, even though my stomach felt like it had a lead weight sitting in it. She exhaled. "Okay. Just don't let them break you." I laughed and hit the red button. The chat lit up immediately. Comments began flowing in. At MemeLord69, "He's live, baby." At Digital Daredevil, 3 days of chaos incoming. At the Void_000, "Let's see what he's really made of." Alright. I waved at the camera, forcing my usual confidence into every movement. You know the rules. I follow the top dare every hour, on the hour, no matter what. You vote, I obey. No skipping, no censoring. You are in control. I tapped the tablet beside me, synced to the custom app my editor Wes had coded. A leaderboard of live updating dares filled the screen. The first dare had already taken the top spot. Eat cereal with ketchup, mustard, and hot sauce. Full bowl. I raised my brows. Starting spicy, huh? I made my way to the kitchen, filled a bowl with cornflakes, drowned it in condiments, and forced it down bite by slimy bite. My eyes watered by the end, and the stream was rolling with LMAOs and puking emojis. An hour in, 120,000 viewers. Off to a roaring start. Hour 2, I had to wear my clothes backward and greet my neighbors while singing happy birthday at the top of my lungs. Hour 3, I was dared to call my old high school crush, Emma, and tell her I still dreamed about her. She awkwardly laughed and hung up. The chat exploded. Hour 4, write property of chat on your forehead in Sharpie. By the time the sun started to dip, the energy had only escalated. My cheeks ached from smiling too hard, and I had begun bouncing between caffeine highs and low-grade headaches. The dares came faster now, more calculated. I started noticing repeat usernames. At the Void_000. At No Control Zone. At Echo in Darkness. They weren't suggesting quirky, harmless things. Their dares were weirder. Call your mom and tell her you're going to disappear. Stay outside overnight. No jacket. No lights. Blindfold yourself for the next 2 hours. It was only 9 p.m., and I was already freezing on my front lawn, duct tape over my eyes, as laughter rolled in from my own stream. Still, I reminded myself, content. This was the job. This was what they wanted. What I wanted. Midnight hit like a fist to the chest. I was dared to read my darkest secret to the stream. I considered skipping, just for a second. But I couldn't. I had set the rules. I sat on the couch, the lights dim, camera inches from my face. The chat slowed to a crawl as I stared into the lens. I had this dog, Milo, growing up. My dad, he wasn't good to him. To any of us. I remember hearing the yelps from the garage. I was 10. I could have said something, but I didn't. Silence. Then the chat resumed. At Void Watcher, now we're getting to the good stuff. At Laugh Track always, damn this got dark. Loving it. At the Void_000, truth tastes best when it bleeds. I ended the stream for a 5-minute break. My hands shook. I told myself it was just the adrenaline. The exposure. Vulnerability makes people feel alive, right? The next dare, break something you love on camera. I walked to my bedroom shelf, stared at the only framed photo I had from before I started YouTube, Zoe and I at the county fair, 2015. I reached for it, then paused. No. I picked up my first 100K subscriber plaque instead. That familiar silver gleam. I hesitated, then slammed it against the hardwood. Glass shards bounced across the floor. I felt nothing. The screen was flooded with emojis and applause. By 6 a.m., I had not slept. My skin felt stretched and dry. My vision blurred slightly when I turned my head too fast. Hour 21, I was dared to go to the park, sit on a swing, and say, "I'm not real," to strangers. Hour 22, take off your shoes. Walk barefoot across a parking lot. Hour 23, call Zoe. Tell her she is cut off. That one hit hard. I stared at the dare for a long time. It had 12,472 votes. Second place wasn't even close. I picked up the phone. She answered on the second ring. Jay? You sound... I can't talk to you anymore, I said flatly. You are out. Chat said so. There was a brief moment of silence. You're kidding, she replied. Nope. I kept the camera steady on my face, stoic. Thanks for the memories. She hung up. The chat reaction was split between L plus ratio, W for obedience, and a few concerned comments. I muted the mic for 5 seconds. I whispered, "I'm sorry," to no one. By hour 25, the top dare was not even a prank. It read, "Don't speak for 6 hours. Just smile." That grin nearly broke my face. The chat got eerily quiet, like even they weren't sure what they were doing anymore. Messages turned philosophical. At Can We Stop Now? Why do I feel guilty? At Viewer 482, is he okay? He looks pale. At the Void_000, he is reborn. I slept for exactly 47 minutes with the stream running. The dare that woke me was simple: enter the abandoned hospital on Croft Street. Stay there. Stream it. I sat up. What the hell, my voice cracked. That place is condemned. But the votes were climbing. Thousands pouring in. Everyone wanted it. I told myself I would go. Stream the walkthrough. Get out. Easy. I drove in silence, the camera mounted to my dash, then strapped to my chest as I pulled up to the chain-link fence. The building loomed like a rotting carcass, its windows black eyes. I climbed through a hole in the fence. The moment I stepped into the crumbling lobby, the air changed. And so did the chat. At the Void_000, welcome home. At inside already, we've been waiting. At just a blinking cursor. No username. My phone glitched. The signal dipped. The flashlight flickered even though the battery was full. "All right, chat," I said, voice shaky, "you got what you wanted." "I'm in." I walked down a hallway coated in peeling paint, past rusted gurneys and broken tiles. I swore I heard whispering, but maybe it was the wind through the cracks. The top dare updated again. "Go to room 207. Stay for an hour." Room 207 had no door. I stepped inside. The walls were scribbled with graffiti, "Liar," "Blood's on you," and "I see you streaming." I froze. Is this a setup?" I asked aloud. Silence. Then, beep, a notification. A photo. Sent by the Void_000. It was a shot of me from behind. Taken 5 seconds ago. Inside the room. My blood iced. I spun around. No one. "Okay, I'm done," I whispered, heart thundering. "I'm ending the stream." But the stream wouldn't stop. My screen locked. The app glitched. I smashed the power button. Nothing worked. The chat lit up again. At the Void_000, the rules were clear. At Just Obey, you said no skips. I bolted out of the building. Outside, I discovered my car had been slashed. All 4 tires were flat. My phone indicated 9% battery life. I walked the 5 miles home in silence, afraid to look behind me. The stream, somehow, still running. By the time I stumbled into my apartment, sun rising, my mind had begun to fracture. No calls from Zoe. My inbox filled with thousands of unread messages. Some concerned. Some begging for more. Different thoughts going through my mind. Was it time to stop? Can I keep up? I stared into the camera one last time and said, "We're only halfway." I didn't sleep. I couldn't. Every time I shut my eyes, I saw that photo of me, standing in room 207, unaware of the lens aimed at the back of my skull. My mouth would go dry just thinking about it. It had to be a prank. Some fan hacking my stream. Some sick joke. Except no one knew where I was going. No one but the chat. The app Wes built didn't track GPS. It wasn't public. So how the hell did they know? And why did it feel like they were inside my head now? At hour 37, I finally shut down the stream for 5 minutes. Just 5. I needed to think. Breathe. Cry, maybe. But my screen stayed black. The OBS app locked. The red live icon kept blinking even though I had definitely hit stop. Wes? I called him, pacing. "Hey, man. Something's wrong with the app. I can't." "Jay?" His voice came through. "Dude, what's happening?" I just got, 30 DMs from viewers. Some are saying the stream went too real. I stared at myself on the still running stream. I can't shut it off. What? They're sending photos. Of me. In real time. They knew where I was. In the hospital. Wes went silent. Then, "Jay, the app doesn't have location permissions." I double-checked. "I'm telling you they knew. They're in my apartment. I feel it." A pause. "You need to end this challenge. Now." "Can't." I looked at the top dare. My heart dropped. "Don't talk to Wes again. Block him." "No. No, they can't." 12,493 votes. I swallowed. Jaden, what did it say? I'm sorry. I hit the block button. His name vanished. I sat in front of the camera and said nothing. There was no point. My voice wasn't mine anymore. Neither were my thoughts. The dare that followed was worse. Go live from your bathroom. Don't leave until we say so. For 6 hours, I sat on the cold tile, knees to my chest, while the chat sent messages that no longer felt human. At Echo in Darkness, does the floor feel like skin yet? At the Void_000, this is where you hatch. At Unsubscribe to Reality, blink twice if you're still pretending. I turned off the lights. Just the glow of my phone screen lit the room. My reflection in the mirror was ghostly, wrong. My eyes too wide, face too still. Like it belonged to someone else now. At some point, I hallucinated, or maybe dreamed, my dad walking into the frame behind me. He said nothing. Just stood there, arms crossed. Watching. Like he used to. When they finally let me out, it was because the next dare said, go to your childhood home. Knocked 3 times. Wait. That house had been empty for 5 years. My parents moved after the divorce. I had not set foot there since high school. My hands trembled as I packed my gear. The drive was long, hollow. I passed familiar streets that felt warped now, like someone had stretched the landscape through a dirty filter. The sky looked darker than it should have at noon. When I pulled up, the house was exactly as I remembered, except for the light. The porch light was on. That light had been broken for years. Okay, I whispered. All right, chat. You win. I walked up the cracked path, stood at the peeling door, and knocked. Once. Twice. 3 times. Silence. Then the door creaked open, just a sliver. Inside was darkness. But the air smelled like childhood. Like pine cleaner and spaghetti sauce. I stepped in. The door slammed behind me. I turned, hard hammering. No one was there. Okay, I said to the camera, forcing a smile. Haha. Great production value. You really got me. My voice echoed. I crept through the house, my flashlight sweeping over dusty shelves, stained walls. My bedroom door was closed. A note was taped to it. Face it. I pushed the door open. It was exactly like I had left it. Same posters on the wall. Same blue comforter. Even the dent in the desk where I had punched it after my dad ripped up my sketchbook. And in the center of the bed was another note. Sit. Remember. Talk to us. My mouth went dry. I sat. I started speaking, not sure to whom. I used to hide in here when he drank. I would pretend I had homework just to be alone. Some nights I would listen to music so loud just to drown out the fights. I always thought if I became famous and made something of myself, it would mean something. That the silence wouldn't win. The camera light blinked. A new dare popped up. Call your father. Tell him everything. I stared at the screen. He doesn't answer, I said. The votes continued climbing. 12,611. I dialed. It rang. Once. Twice. Then, hello? My throat closed up. Jaden? His voice was rougher than I remembered. Yeah. Pause. Is everything okay? I could hear the clink of a bottle. Always drown in a bottle. No, I whispered. It's not. I I remember, Dad. The way you treated us. The way you hurt Milo. I should have spoken up. I should have done something. But I was afraid of you. Silence. Then he laughed. Are you recording this? It's a stream. Figures. He snorted. Still chasing attention. Still pretending you didn't break us. He hung up. The chat exploded. At Haunt Me Harder, yo, this is cinema. At the Void_000, pain is proof of life. I drove home in silence. The stream didn't glitch this time. The feed was clean. Crisp. Too perfect. When I got back, the next dare was waiting. Bring Zoe back. Let her in. My heart stopped. A knock at the door followed. 3 sharp taps. I opened it without thinking. She stood there, hair tied back, no makeup, eyes red like she hadn't slept. Jay, she whispered. How did you? The chat told me, she said. One of them sent me your address. I blinked. That's not possible. I never. They know everything, she said, stepping inside. They are not just watching. They are feeding. I shut the door behind her. Zoe sat on the couch, staring at the stream. You look awful, she said gently. I laughed bitterly. Thanks. Why haven't you stopped this? I tried. The stream won't end. They control it now. The app, the dares, it's all locked. She looked at me. You made yourself a puppet, Jay. But now the strings aren't digital. They are in you. I felt it too. Like every movement had to be performed. Like silence was punished. Then help me cut them. We stared at the screen. A new dare appeared. Zoe reads Jay's journal from 2016. Out loud. My breath hitched. She turned to me. Jay. Do it, I said quietly. Let's give them what they want. She opened the old spiral notebook I had kept hidden in the back of my closet. My private thoughts, raw and unfiltered, back when I had no one to talk to. Her voice shook as she read. February 3rd. I think if I disappeared, no one would notice for days. Maybe even weeks. I wish someone would ask if I'm okay without me having to beg for it. She swallowed. March 14th. Sometimes I wonder if being a joke on the internet is better than being invisible in real life. Maybe pain is just the proof I still exist. Tears welled in her eyes. The chat was silent. For once, completely still. Silence. Hour 49. We sat together in silence, the weight of everything pressing in. Zoe reached for my hand. You have to finish this. I don't think I can. Yes, you can. But on your terms. A new dare appeared. Confess the lie that started it all. I knew what it meant. I turned to the camera. All right. Fine. Here it is. I never liked streaming. Zoe blinked. I did it because it was easier than facing myself. Easier than working a real job. Easier than failing at being an artist, a friend, a human being. I liked the control. But then, I gave it away. And now they won't give it back. I stood up. So here's my dare for you, chat. I walked over to the router, yanked the Ethernet cord. The screen went black. Silence. For the first time in 2 days, it was mine. The stream was dead. No chat. No dares. No blinking red dot leeching from the top of my vision. I sat on the living room floor, my back against the couch, the Ethernet cable coiled in my lap like a venomous snake finally beheaded. Zoe sat across from me, legs pulled to her chest. "What now?" she asked softly. "I don't know," I whispered. The air felt different. Not lighter, just still. Like the moment after a bomb goes off, when dust hangs in the air and your ears ring and everything inside you is floating. But I had pulled the plug. I should have felt free. I didn't. We left the apartment. It was instinctual, just the need to move. We took the stairs because I no longer trusted elevators, technology, or anything that beeped. Zoe didn't ask where we were going, and I didn't say. We drove aimlessly for hours, past gas stations and shuttered diners, the kind of forgotten places that look like they never survived the internet age. Eventually we pulled into a 24-hour laundromat lit by buzzing fluorescent lights. No Wi-Fi. No cameras. I sat in the back, drinking vending machine coffee while Zoe fed quarters into an empty dryer just to hear the noise. She looked over at me. "They will come back, won't they?" "I don't know," I said. But I did. The silence wasn't a ceasefire. It was a wind-up. By the time we returned to my place, I felt it, the shift. The air was heavier. The door was unlocked. Inside, everything looked normal, but I knew it wasn't. My laptop sat closed on the desk, though I had left it wide open. The lights were all on. The bedroom window was cracked an inch even though I never opened it. But worst of all, the red light on my external webcam blinked. It was on. Even unplugged. Zoe went pale. "Jay." I stepped closer, heart hammering. The laptop screen lit up on its own. No password prompt. No boot up screen. Just a black background. And a single sentence. "You don't end us. We end you." I smashed the laptop. I didn't think, I just moved. Glass, plastic, keys, cords. Gone in seconds. I picked up the camera next and threw it into the wall. The lens cracked like a scream. Zoe didn't say anything. She just stood there watching me rip every piece of tech I own from the walls, from the shelves, TV, modem, Alexa, even the smart light bulbs. Anything that could see me. I wanted darkness. Silence. Control. By the time I finished, I was panting. My hands were bleeding. Zoe wrapped a towel around them. Her eyes were full of something close to fear. But not of me. Of what we both knew was still watching. Somehow, somewhere. That night we stayed in the hallway, backs against the door, listening for footsteps that never came. I kept imagining I would hear a notification sound or the synthetic voice of the stream announcing a new dare. But nothing came. Until my phone buzzed. It was dead. Or, had been. Now the screen showed one thing. A video. No sender. No interface. Just a play button and a thumbnail of static. Zoe leaned in. "Don't." But my finger moved before my brain caught up. The screen flickered. The video began. It was me. Streaming. But this was new. This wasn't the last broadcast. It was something else. The footage showed me asleep on the couch. Camera angle, overhead. Time code, 2:43 a.m. Tonight. Zoe was next to me, her head on my shoulder. But we weren't in the hallway. We were in the living room. Even though we hadn't gone in there since returning. I watched the footage as another me, myself from the stream, opened his eyes and stared directly into the lens. My real eyes widened. On screen, the fake me smiled. Then whispered, "You think you're out?" The footage cut to static. "I'm done," I said. "This isn't a game anymore." "It never was," Zoe said. "You gave them your soul one click at a time." I didn't argue. She was right. They weren't just dares now. They were rituals. Performances. And every action I took was a cue in their twisted play. "Okay," I said. "Then we burn the stage." Zoe blinked. "What?" "We go analog." Her brow furrowed. "You mean?" "No more devices. No screens. No cameras. We go to someone who can't be hacked. Someone real." She nodded slowly. "Who?" "My brother." Milo had been living off-grid for 3 years. Last I heard, he had joined a commune in the woods outside Oregon. No tech, no phones. Just land, food, and healing. We drove overnight. Zoe drove, and I stared out the window, trying to figure out when the first thread in my life had been pulled loose. Milo had left after Dad's second arrest. He had wanted nothing to do with screens or cities. He said the internet made trauma into a carousel. I hadn't understood then. I did now. When we arrived, it was morning. The forest breathed around us, wet and ancient. Milo opened the door like he had been expecting us. He had not changed much, still tall and broad-shouldered, with quiet eyes that seemed to look through you. He hugged me without asking questions. Then Zoe. Inside, the cabin was sparse. A fireplace. Some old books. A table set for 3. As we sat, he finally spoke. "They found you, didn't they?" My stomach tightened. "You knew?" "I watch. From far away." "You said you didn't." "I don't own a screen," he said. "But they come through anyway." Zoe leaned in. "Who are they, Milo?" He sighed. "The ones who realize being unseen is more powerful than being famous." He showed us a notebook. Inside were hand-sketched symbols and patterns. Names. Dares. Some matched mine. "People think the internet is neutral," Milo said. "But it's not. It's a mirror. And sometimes when you stare long enough, something else looks back." I flipped a page. My own face stared back, drawn in charcoal, eyes hollow. "You knew this would happen?" "I hoped it wouldn't. But the moment you stopped treating your pain like something to heal, and started feeding it to strangers, I knew." I dropped the notebook. Zoe whispered, "Is there a way out?" Milo looked at us both. "There's one dare left. But you have to choose it yourselves." That night, Zoe and I sat by the fire while Milo slept. "I keep thinking," she whispered. "What if this is our fault?" I shook my head. They offered a stage. We stepped on it. Doesn't mean we deserved this. But we kept going. Because we wanted to matter. She looked at me. "Do we?" I reached for her hand. "We do. But not because they say so. Because we choose to." That night, we didn't sleep. At dawn, we left a note for Milo. Then walked into the woods with no phones, no cameras, just each other. The final dare was ours now. Leave. No traces. Disappear. It's been 3 days since Zoe and I vanished into the woods. No phones. No power. No signal. At first, it felt like being reborn. The world was real again, bark you could scrape your nails on, sky that shifted color by the hour, silence that didn't carry the echo of strangers watching. But silence is a funny thing. Eventually, it starts to whisper. And mine had a voice. We built a shelter. Primitive, but enough. Zoe learned fast. Her dad had taken her camping as a kid, so she knew how to trap squirrels and purify water. I followed her lead. We told ourselves this was the only way. Disappear, and maybe the watchers would forget. But they didn't. On the fourth morning, I found a symbol carved into a tree near our camp, a triangle with a circle in the middle, the same one from Milo's notebook. Zoe saw it too. We did not speak for the rest of the day. That night, I woke up to static. Not from a speaker, inside my head. A low hiss that grew louder every second. Like the world was tuning into something just out of reach. I stumbled into the trees, barefoot and shaking, searching for the sound source. That's when I saw it. A phone. Lying in a patch of moss, screen lit, camera front-facing. It wasn't mine. It should not have been there. But it was streaming. And on the screen, me. Right now. In real time. Behind me, the chat ticked by. You're almost free. One last dare. Broadcast your truth. I did not touch it. Not at first. I just stood there staring at my own face in the screen. I looked hollow. Tired. Lost. But more than anything, visible. They still had me. Even here. Even now. Zoe came running up behind me. Her eyes locked on the phone. No, she whispered. It's bait. I know. Then why are you? Because maybe it's the only way to end this. She grabbed my wrist. You don't owe them anything. I'm not doing it for them, I said. I'm doing it for me. Then I picked up the phone. And hit go live. Hi. My voice shook. I'm Jay. Or, well, you already know that. Zoe stood just outside the frame, eyes wet. I don't know who you are. Or where you're watching from. Or how long you've been here. But I know what you are. The chat lit up with hearts, eyes, and the word go on. You are the reason I started this. And the reason I could not stop. I paused, swallowing the burn in my throat. I turned my life into content because I was afraid of being invisible. Of being no one. So I dared myself. Over and over. Until I could not remember where I ended and your expectations began. The wind picked up, but I did not stop. You gave me meaning. But it was fake. Conditional. Addictive. Every like was a hit. Every dare, a trap. You watched me destroy myself and clapped harder. A message popped up. We didn't make you. No. You just let me. Zoe stepped into frame then, her voice soft. And we let you, too. She reached for my hand. We let you shape our love, our fear, our limits. We followed your orders because it was easier than facing ourselves. I looked at her. And for once, I knew the next dare didn't belong to them. It belonged to us. I turned the camera on Zoe. Tell them. She blinked. Then nodded. My name's Zoe. I'm not a sidekick, or a fan, or a token love interest in Jay's redemption arc. I am a person. I make choices. She looked into the lens. and I choose to stop giving you power. The chat went silent. No emojis. No snark. Just static. Zoe turned to me, and I knew what to do. I lifted the phone, our uninvited oracle, and whispered, "This is our final broadcast." Then I hurled it into the river. It sank instantly. The silence that followed was clean. We stayed off-grid for another week. No symbols. No screens. No dreams filled with chat boxes and dares. Eventually, we made our way back to Milo's cabin. He was waiting on the porch with 3 mugs of coffee. "You did it," he said. Zoe laughed weakly. "Did we?" Milo looked at me. "You burned their stage. Now you get to build your own." I sat beside him, feeling the warmth of the cup, the solidness of the wood beneath me. It felt real. And earned. Weeks passed. Then months. We moved east and found a tiny town where nobody recognized me, where cell service was weak and people still read physical newspapers. I got a job fixing bikes. Zoe worked at a greenhouse. Sometimes, I would catch a flicker of fear in her eyes when a customer take out their phone or a drone flew overhead. But it passed. It always passed. I started journaling again. With ink. On paper. No followers. No upvotes. Just words. Then, one day, I got a letter. No return address. Just a blank envelope tucked into our mailbox. Inside was a Polaroid. A still frame of that last stream, Zoe and I by the river, mid-sentence. On the back, written in red ink. "We are still watching. Always will be." My hands trembled. Zoe took it from me, read it, then dropped it into the fireplace without a word. We watched it curl and blacken. Then she looked at me. "Let them watch," she said. "We are not performing anymore." She was right. We had nothing to prove. And everything to live. Even if they came back, even if they found us, they would only find people who no longer feared being unseen. Who no longer needed the world's attention to feel real. That was our final dare. Not disappearing. But existing beyond the lens. Owning our narrative. Writing our own script. And in that story, we decide what matters. So here I am. Not broadcasting. Not explaining. Just being. If you are reading this somehow, somewhere, maybe you were one of them. Or maybe you're someone like I was, craving an audience to feel whole. Let me tell you this. You are already whole. You don't need their dares to be brave. You don't need their eyes to be seen. You just need to unplug, breathe, and listen to yourself. That voice? That's the only one that matters. And it doesn't come with a like button. Subscribe for more if you enjoyed the story, also like this video so it can reach other people, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new story. See you in the next one.